Just picked the car up this morning, so I'm finally mobile after 3 or 4 days. Not straightforward, had a big issue with trying to get insurances, not being in the UK license. The main thing to start this video, I'm in England, I'm mobile, could be worse.
Well, in fact, it was worse.
Back in October 2021, I picked up some basic travel essentials, packed a bag and headed to the airport. This is not a trip that is unusual to me. Only 2 years ago we headed back to the UK after my dad passed away. But it is the first time during a global pandemic. You see, most of the world was still able to travel during COVID, but Australia, they closed their borders.
A travel ban will be in place from 9 PM tomorrow evening.
So wanting to enter the country or even leave the country if the need arises was almost impossible. Again, I've been through Sydney Airport many times, and just the shock in the departure lounge was
Empty. I think I've pretty much got a whole airport terminal to myself.
I had an emotional goodbye, and there began my 6-week trip home back to the UK.
I boarded the plane surprised of how few people were on board.
There's 6 that I counted on here so far, so...
So let's take a step back a few weeks, 6 to be precise. I'd received some bad news and I wanted to get back home to the UK as quick as possible. However, Australian citizens were only able to leave the country with a valid travel exemption. I lodged all of my paperwork to the Australian government and waited. After a few days, I heard back from the Australian Border Force. They didn't accept my reason for wanting to leave Australia and go back to the UK. So I leaned on my sister, changed the wording on some of the paperwork and relodged some of my application. It wasn't that I had any paperwork missing, it was more the fact I had 2 words too many on my application. And those words were prognosis unknown. See, Mum had been diagnosed with terminal cancer and she was in the early stages of going through her assessments. So the words prognosis unknown meant to the Australian government that she could live indefinitely. However, we knew there was a different side to that story. So after 6 weeks of fighting with Mum's consultants, we had those 2 words removed from all the official paperwork. I relodged my application and waited 5 agonising days from the Australian Border Force to make their decision once again. On a daily basis, I kept checking in on their portal and seeing the status of where we were at. On the 10th of October 2021, I received an email from the Australian Department of Home Affairs. I wasted no time in booking my ticket and I was on a flight within a few days.
Hello!
Oh, James!
Hello!
Oh my! You kept away from me all.
So on the 1st of September 2021, Mum turned 68. Only 2 years earlier, Mum and Dad had shared their joint birthdays and celebrated turning 66, as there was only 6 days between them. They loved the excuse to mark the occasion and celebrate for themselves and to bring in those around them. But on Mum's 68th birthday this year, she found herself in hospital. In the 6 weeks from Mum's diagnosis to the time I got back to the UK, Mum's health had deteriorated drastically. The house that I spent my childhood growing up in had become a revolving door of healthcare professionals up to 6 times a day. And on occasion for my own mental health, I just needed time. I took the chance to get out of the house whenever I could.
Is very different to running around here. I've not really done much winter running. I'm on my warm-up.
Begin running for 90 seconds.
Here we go.
Hi Nana, I hope you have a really good birthday. I hope you enjoy going out with Auntie Lisa. Love you all the way to the moon and back.
Nana, I wish we could all be together. I hope you like the presents. Happy birthday. And hope you have a nice time with Auntie Lisa. Present will be there tomorrow. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Just another awesome day in England.
The next few days were spent around the house with family and friends coming to visit. She spent some time on video calls with her grandchildren. She made us laugh more than she had done in a long time. But ultimately the cancer won the fight.
I'm here. I'm gonna go and see what memories come flooding back. Walking around my old holiday jaunt. Oh my gosh, it's cold. As desolate and as gloomy as this place is, it holds some fantastic memories for me back in the day. Every second year we used to go overseas, but also on top of that we always used to come here for 1 week, every May and every September. I used to have a fantastic time. The main reason coming back here through kind of walking back down memory lane was my dad died 2 years ago. 2 years ago this month actually. And unfortunately for me living in Australia, I wasn't able to get here. It's the first time I've made it back to England since kind of seeing off Dad, and I just wanted to see where his ashes were scattered. So, and with the time scale and COVID and everything, I have to go back to Australia in 4 weeks, and the ashes not be ready to scatter until after I've returned home. Right, so can you imagine 13-year-old me, just behind me, down that way, there's a place called the Pier, and it's full of arcade machines, all that sort of thing, all the good fun stuff that any probably 10, 12, 13-year-old would love. I used to get so excited about coming down here, to go trudging in the muddy ocean water. It looks brown, all the silt that's been stirred up, but I didn't care. I'd run around, have so much fun. Oh. Mum, Dad.
Although I'd only planned on staying in town for a few hours or so, I find myself roaming the local landmarks, talking to myself, and seeing what had changed.
Gotta see what else has changed. There's lights on here, that wasn't here before, at the bar at the back, and again that wasn't here.
And after 3 hours of walking everywhere, I bought myself some fish and chips from Tony's Fish Bar.
Right, I'd say fish and chips. I ran out of fish, so I've got a sausage and chips.
This place was a must every time we visited the coast.
So that's it, that's my time in Skegness done with. I will be coming back with my sister, my niece and some of the family. But for now, I'm cold, tired, I've got a 2-hour drive ahead of me. I want to go home. I would not have a clue where this poopery is. So we're on a mission this morning to find some poo.
Having been through a lot over the past 8 weeks, life was ready to yank me back into normality.
Well, it's not poopery, but it is
First was a bit of shopping with my auntie.
Fabaloo, or Fabalusa.
We're on the hunt for some toilet perfume.
Close enough.
Then there was Christmas coming, and even though I'll be back in Australia for Christmas, and the temperature will be in excess of 30 degrees,
I think that's a must buy.
I still had to buy a Christmas jumper.
Well, it's been a long time. I've been in the UK now for 3 weeks. What is it? 3 weeks today. I've not done much filming. I've had quite a lot on. Been sorting the house out where Mum is. But today I'm going to go to Newcastle. It's my friend's 40th birthday in a couple of days' time. She's having a bit of a gathering today. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to load up the car and go for a drive. I'm actually looking forward to getting away, to be honest. I've made it all the way to Newcastle, checked into my hotel, lost my watch. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. It wasn't until I was on the way back, I think, when I posted an update on Facebook, and then we got into a text chat. I knew Natasha's birthday was on the 17th of November, but I didn't know she was having a 40th party today. That said, I am in need of just kind of completely forgetting about the last couple of weeks. Smart casual trainers, pretty much because that's all I packed. So it's on from 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which suits me because I'm not really a late night person, so. Well, it is 20 to 3 in the morning. I spent a lot longer at the party than I expected to. Today when I was on the way up, I stopped at the services. Bought some more food. Loving the Marks and Spencer's egg sandwiches. So I bought this yesterday. 2.5 hours and just fly by. I thought Mum or Dad had said that the loft has been pretty much cleared out and there's not much up there. So I'm gonna go and have a look.
And I'll be honest, it's not as much as I thought it would be, but there's still a fair bit to get out of here. This is going to keep me busy for a little while. That's the magic of making videos, is that I can edit it to make it look like all this work is done in only a matter of minutes. I don't even know what's behind some of this stuff. Oh, right, stop reminiscing. Work time.
While packing up the house, we gave away as much as we could, sold things online and threw some things away. But every now and then, I would stop and just look at some of the items and memories that Mum and Dad had collected over the years, and one of them being only a couple of weeks old.
So I'm sat at the top of the stairs. I've been going through another one of Mum's bags, and in there she had this folder. It's full of all the birthday cards that have been sent to her over the years. And me, Charlie and Neve put together this card, and we put in there, asked Charlie and Neve what they wanted to write. And bear in mind, she found out she had cancer on her 68th birthday. So she opened this, probably within 24 to 48 hours knowing that she was terminal.
James, I've just received your birthday card because, as you know, I've been at Lisa's, and it's absolutely beautiful.
This is hard. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done. A few days off from the running, but I've also had a lot of Sunday roast dinners. I've been quite a big one last night with all 4 meats. So today, it's 7 AM, it's 3 degrees. I'm going back running again. I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest.
Running for 3 minutes. You are on run 1.
My legs hurt. My chest is burning. I'm not used to being out in this sort of temperature, really. I don't like it. It's literally just me and the dog walkers out. Morning. Whoa. I've definitely warmed up about halfway through. Another 30 seconds. So you know what? Let's get ahead of the game and start running. I've just been watching the TV, had some breakfast, booked my hotel. I'm gonna go down to London the night before my flight, stay in a hotel down there. That way I don't have to get up super early to get to the airport because it's gonna be a long enough day as it is. So I'm all fully booked in, shower, and then... So I'm on my way into Bulwell, got some bills to pay. I need to go and see the funeral directors regarding a song that my uncle's gonna do for my mum. I need to go into the solicitor's office to pay a bill. So, just sorting it now. So that's stop number 2 done for the funeral services. That's stop number 3 done. I've got my boxes. In fact, my mask will come off in a minute. That's a little bit better. Back on the road again, on the way to Sherwood. Let's go. So going through Mum's bedroom the other day, found a little bit of cash knocking around, so what I wanted to do is put that in the bank for ages. Must have been about 30 minutes.
heart burst and my insides melt. She was my bravery and my strength.
And that wouldn't even be a bad place to finish, to be honest. No, I think you can pretty much. Well, it doesn't need to be, does it really? And Auntie Chris is doing something as well.
I just don't want to get it wrong.
I can't do it. I'd love to be able to do what she's doing. I do have a lot of admiration to be able to stand up in front of a crowd well, it's not just a crowd, it's stand up in front of family and friends and people that you know and talk about somebody's life and condense your feelings for someone, or your respect, or your admiration, and all three of those above things into such a short, they're like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. Thank you. Thanks. Said I was going to get a healthy meal. Okay, so this should be almost the end of doing my tip runs. It's been hard actually, as you probably would have seen. I've done at least 4 or 5 of these already, kind of going through the house and throwing somebody's life away, effectively putting it in for recycling or landfill. Not one of the easiest things I've ever had to do, but I am getting towards the end of it. And on the upside, a lot of the stuff that I'm throwing away, they're just things, there's not memories attached to them. Photographs and videos and that sort of thing, that's where it becomes more difficult, and cards and personal items. Furniture I'm fine with, especially when some of the furniture is some of the stuff that Mum and Dad took off me when I moved to Australia 13 years ago. So to get rid of the futon that I had, or some of the bedroom furniture, the desk, that's been straightforward, no emotional attachment to that sort of thing. But anyway, right, I've got one more tip run to do. I'm going to do that now. Well, before I do, I need to say bye to this fella. See you in a bit. This is Henry. Alright, Henry. Alright, to the tip. Right then, so I've had a bit of time on my hands. I'm heading into Nottingham in a little bit for a German market. Gonna get some hot dogs, hot chocolate. You can sit outdoors in the winter markets, but before that, because I'm clearing Mum and Dad's estate, I want to be able to take some things back to Australia. Send them sea, so they can bob their way across the ocean for the next 3 to 4 months. Oh, one other thing before I go, it is Mum's funeral in 3 days' time. 2 years ago today was Dad's funeral. So it's now towards the end of the night. It's currently, Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 4 degrees Celsius.
That means that's why I've got 2 long sleeve tops, 2 t-shirts, my big jacket and a scarf. I'm not fully equipped for this weather, but I am getting better with it, so let's go. Yeah, way too cold for my liking. You see, this is something a little bit different for me because I spent all day in the car. Now I'm waiting for the bus. Morning. Oh, maybe I had 1 or 2 many beers last night. Bought some boxes yesterday. I want to get everything ready, ship them back to Australia. Found quite a lot of memorabilia, photographs, that sort of thing, things that I didn't know that Mum and Dad had, and things that kind of first got me into video editing. Dad's old Vision mixer, the Camlink Vision 200, and we used to sit for ages mixing videos with this. I remember this was amazing because it had the huge screen on the back, as well as an island I went to years ago, stayed on in the Maldives. So again, just some memorabilia that I want to take home, maybe even frame. Stuff I didn't know that Mum and Dad had kept. That's it. Box is packed. They'll call the shipping company, they're going to come and pick this up, send this to Australia. Yeah, so everything's in this box. We're all packed away. Just feels weird. These are the only things I want from Mum and Dad's life. But then a lot of them are videotapes and memories and that sort of thing. I'm not really into the possessions. Things are just things. So as long as I've got the tapes, I can digitize those, make some videos out of them. I've got some pictures. I think they're the main things. It is the day before I go home. I was going to pack a box. A few years ago I sent 3 of these boxes for £306. Now it's costing £690 per box. Therefore, I'm not going to do it. So I've tried to pack everything into my suitcase, but I can't get everything in, so I'm desperate to try and find just some extra carry-on luggage. Who's got suitcases this time of year? It's not a time of year where everybody goes on holiday, therefore all the shops are out of suitcases. I've been to a few places this morning. I've been to Matalan, Tesco, Argos. None of them have any suitcases in stock. I found one. I'm gonna go and get it. Thanks a lot.
"21 days after Mum passed away, we had her funeral. I was touched to see all the people that came to pay their respects. You see, Mum knew that she was dying, and although I may have seen it as a curse to see my immortality laid out in such a bare manner, Mum saw it as an opportunity to tie up all the loose ends and organise her own funeral.
Well, like I says, Irene was very organised, and she met with me before she died to make sure everything was just right for today. She wanted to make sure of it.
She wanted to have the same minister that was the officiant to my dad, and she picked out the music that she wanted, chose the colour of the flowers, and made everything as easy as possible on myself and my sister.
Since Irene was diagnosed with a terminal illness, we have felt a great range of emotions.
To sit and watch my sister stand up and do a eulogy again, as she did 2 years ago, it was emotional, and
I didn't think I'd be here today 2 years later, but I'm speaking today on behalf of myself and my brother James.
to add an extra layer, the crematorium said that they would have the ashes ready for us within 48 hours instead of the normal 2 weeks, so that we could scatter the ashes before I fly back to Australia. So on the 28th of November, we were able to drive down to the coast and do what I didn't think was possible.
Hello James, I hope you're okay my love. I'm fine at the moment and I'm processing what I've been told today. We have to see the other consultants at their clinic and then they will be able to give us the bigger picture. So imminently James, I'm okay. Long term, we don't know. Hello James, I know it's your dad's anniversary today. It's 2 years today. I'm sorry I haven't been in touch with you. I've had quite a good day today, but then I've been a little bit exhausted. Charlie, Neve, Mummy and Daddy, I love you all so very much, and thank you for the birthday messages and the birthday cards, and I will look forward to getting a present tomorrow. I love you so much my darlings, and I too wish we could all be together, but one day soon we will be. I love you darlings.